During our time in Thailand, we wanted to see what else the cannabis scene had to offer beyond the dispensaries you can find on every corner of Bangkok. We heard the stories of hemp being used in traditional Thai food for generations, and when we traveled to the northern farms, we even got to experience hemp being used in chicken soup made by the locals. When Thailand decriminalized extracts with less than 0.2% THC, cannabis cuisine and edibles began to take off alongside the rest of the market. So we were curious and reached out to Empty Plates Bangkok for a tasting menu hosted by Chef Stephen John to get a small taste of what the cannabis cuisine in Thailand had to offer. You know, Bangkok is a very interesting city to learn how to navigate. We were driving through streets where we were certain the car was gonna get stuck in an alley with us in it because they had about an inch on either side to get through it. Somehow they got through. I'm not great with boats, but I was very curious about this trip. You're going into what looks like a massive river with lots of like ferries and major boats, but also a bunch of really small boats that are going to take into these weird canals that you can go down. And then we just zipped around this really like bumpy river until we got to the canals. And then it was just super peaceful and beautiful. I mean, just here 3 days, my head is still spinning. I still feel like there's like so much to learn and experience. And every turn you look at, it was photo worthy. Instantly changed the mood as soon as we went from the river to the canal and really set the tone for the evening that where we were going is deeply private and also deeply special.
So this belongs to my friend's family. They've been here for a very long time, for several hundred years. They've been living around here. But this didn't look like this a few years ago. This was just farmland. Now we're gonna go to our little spot.
I've never quite seen a space designed like that outside of maybe like a 5-star hotel or a company really presenting luxury. But this was just a place where people were drinking coffee and hanging out with plants and surrounded by nature and beauty. Truly a stunning location and one I hope I get to go back to.
Today what I'm doing is I'm going to serve you a menu, a tasting menu, but also a smoke pairing. So it's a lot of cannabis, 7 selected strains that you have here on the table. Don't feel like you have to smoke it. And for every single dish, I will explain to you what we did with cannabis, how it's infused or utilized in the cooking process.
Full disclosure, I feel like when you medicate a meal, you're making the meal itself not taste as good, and then you're playing this game of how high can I bear to be. And I just generally don't like it, but this is where the locals are at. We want to meet them where they're at. And so going through this meal, I found that every plate we had was absolutely delicious. The experience itself overall was a 10 out of 10. The atmosphere, the food, the staff that were overly accommodating in a way that you're not even going to get at a Michelin star restaurant.
Next dish that you have is to highlight hemp and the cannabis plant just as a plant on its own. So what we made is hemp seed linguine. So the linguine are made from the seeds of cannabis.
And one of my favorite plates that I tried that was super unique was a hemp pasta, 100% made of hemp. You'd expect it to taste really like grainy and dry and not very good, but if I wasn't told that was hemp pasta, I would have never known or thought to ask. It was delicious, but it came from a plant where our relationship with it is not necessarily eating it, and I still think about how much this plant has to offer beyond the medicinal benefits that it gives us all.
It's the whole ambiance, I think, especially when you have a table with friends where you have like enough inner conversations where you can really just sit for a few hours, enjoy good food and each other's company, because we're so fixated on our phones these days, right? We don't really sit down with each other, have a meal, have conversation, and then that's something that you will cherish, you know.
One of my favorite moments was at the end of dinner when I got to sit down with Chef and just chop it up, right? Smoke some hash, show him what we do, let him hit a peak for the first time ever. It's not something he'd heard of before we scheduled this dinner. That moment was so special, not just getting to share my passion with him after him sharing his passion with us. He made me look forward to coming back and spending more time with him and appreciating how he grows his craft and what he does. Sitting down, smoking hash, and being real with people is one of my favorite experiences in this world. And Chef delivered on that experience with him. It felt like this part of our trip was the first time we really got to relax. It was a massive race from day one. landing and then jumping on a plane, driving in remote areas to different farms in extreme heat. We were pretty beat up, but jumping on that boat, how quiet everything got once you were in the canal. Jumping off of the boat and going through this serene, beautiful, nature-inspired space, and then getting to sit down together really for the first time in a way that allowed us to connect with each other, which is something that we love to do on trips. This was that first moment for us that we just got to breathe and chill and laugh and drink and smoke. This felt like the first breath of fresh air we got, even that fresh air was filled with a lot of hash vapor.